This is our presentation on Escaping Reality, Combating VR Overuse by Benjamin Altus,
Landon Abrams,
Logan Lavin,
and Jaden Robino.
First, introduction. VR was first created in 1987 by scientist John Lanier. He was also the person who created this term. The definition of virtual reality is the use of computer modeling and simulation that enables a person to interact with an artificial 3D, visual, or other sensory environment. Both of these pieces of information were gathered from the Encyclopedia Britannica. VR is an important topic to discuss because it is readily available to many people and it has many uses. However, there are some downsides to VR, which is what we will talk about in our presentation. Virtual reality usage by age. As we can see in this graph, VR is very common in adolescents and people with developing minds up to the age of 24. According to the NIH, or National Institute of Health, following neuronal proliferation, the brain rewires itself from the onset of puberty up until 25 years of age, especially in the prefrontal cortex. Virtual reality usage in various ways. This chart shows how VR is used in many ways, ranging from sports viewing, TV and film viewing, and music. However, almost 36.5% of gamers and 25% of the public use it to escape the real world, which is the main problem that we will be discussing in this presentation. Agencies. There are three main agencies that use VR. These are Oculus, or the Meta platforms, Unity Technologies, and the American Psychological Association, or APA. According to a report by The Verge, Oculus has sold nearly 20 million headsets, with most being the Oculus Quest 2, as opposed to the Oculus Quest 1 and the Oculus Pro. And this shows just how widespread VR is, and how much problems created by it can affect the population. The main problem we will be discussing is that people will spend too much time in a virtual world and will let go of any meaningful connections that they have already made in their lives.
One solution is to limit the access of virtual reality to younger children in order to stop the social harm it causes before it can be detrimental. According to journals.close.org, augmented reality significantly affects task performance, nonverbal behavior, and social connectedness compared to those not using it. When people use VR, they are no longer connected in the real world in a social aspect. Virtual reality separates people from the physical realm, which limits the social development of younger children. The best way to stop the harm of virtual reality is to limit or ban it from being used by those who can be affected. However, banning virtual reality can lead to bigger downsides or side effects. Any benefits that VR provides can no longer be utilized. Anyone can no longer access them. VR has provided scientific benefits and assistance. It has been proven that virtual reality has aided in educational purposes. A quote from frontiersin.org states that environmental awareness increased significantly only for the VR, but not for the media control conditions, suggesting that VR is more likely to lead to an attitude change. VR has more potential to lead to a beneficial outcome, in this case, more than the media. It would be a waste to no longer make use of a resource that is that influential. Since many people have spent time developing games and apps on VR, it is no longer available, and their creations will be wasted. And people who create software or hardware for virtual reality will no longer have their source of income. Many game developers have spent much of their life creating games in VR, and banning virtual reality removes a lot of job opportunities. Many people have spent a lot of money on the newest VR headset and many fun games, and people will be mad when they can no longer use these things. The Meta Quest 3 had a retail price of $500, and after buying games, it can get pretty pricey. When people no longer have use for this, people are going to be angry at the government. Since this will be pricey to the average people, the government will most likely have to reimburse those who lost money and give them back the money they lost. This will lead to the government being in more debt and can be harmful to the U.S. economy.
Alright, so solution 2 is raising awareness. This equips users with knowledge to make informed choices, and Ramon Lavoie of the University of Manitoba suggests that policymakers and VR developers should take action to understand the dangers of VR and to protect their consumers. It also leads to better engagement in real-life interactions. And in the conclusion of a study of camera of the University, Ionian University, he states that the majority of researchers agree that concerns arise from screens, overuses of screens, specifically regarding the physical domain, such as cyber sickness and obesity. So some of the limitations of Solution 2 are the ineffectiveness of awareness on behavioral change. And in a study by James Kite of the Sydney School of Public Health, he concluded that even 1 year of a campaign is not enough time to change intentions or behavior. The second one is desensitization towards warnings. And a study from UC Davis about COVID found that while anxiety about COVID was high, it decreased over time, even as the death toll rose. And this desensitization may make people less responsive to changing that threat levels and reduce their adherence to safety measures. And the last one is unequal access to educational services, because not everyone around the globe has equal access to virtual reality. So some of the implications are that if for Solution 2, it fosters stronger bonds with family and as well as the community. It's beneficial for the general public, children, parents, for the relationships, and mental health professionals to learn more about virtual reality. However, it's harmful to tech companies, content creators, gaming, and social media industries, because Solution 2 actually draws people away from the virtual reality.
So, we come to what is the best solution. After a careful analysis of our two solutions we provided, limiting access to VR and raising awareness on its addictive properties, we've concluded that the better solution is to raise awareness. Now, first off, it has a lower negative impact on the economy. Compared to a ban, there is no limit to production provided by raising awareness, but rather it ensures that the consumer is making rational decisions, and it does so without hurting the VR sector as much. Secondly, it allows for VR to flourish with its benefits. What education can do that a limit cannot is allow the benefits of VR to shine. This is a revolutionary technology with the capacity to immerse people in a certain setting, and this is otherwise untapped with a limit set on virtual reality. Furthermore, VR itself can be used to raise awareness. Because of its beneficial ability to plunge people into a virtual world, what it can do is help mitigate and negate some of its downfalls, like desensitization, by providing a lasting impact in a special way. In conclusion, we see that the social harms VR poses form a very complex topic, and these impact social connections by engrossing users and pushing them away from real-world interactions, which are fundamental and necessary for a healthy lifestyle. The solutions need to balance social improvement as well as the consequences they will have on the economy and growing technology. We came up with two viable solutions, and we feel that education on the downfalls of virtual reality is a more effective solution. Overall, solving this is important to access the beneficial products of education and training that VR can provide. And that's our
Really nicely done. Couple of things that